Thugtician, this is VWE Watch, responding to your video of the message to the good black men. Couple things in your video that I find pretty disturbing and appalling. For example, when you speak of the ordinary black man, the one who is black on the inside. For example, we cut you open and we see blackness. You then go on to condemn those who see themselves as being more than a black man. Those who commit the crime of rejection of blackness and imitation of whiteness. I then ask myself, do those who receive a diploma from a second-rate community college, as you put it, commit that crime of rejection of blackness and imitation of whiteness? Does achieving a college degree mean that they're imitating whites? Do you equate academic achievement with whiteness and disassociate it with blackness? Are these things that ordinary black men don't do? Please tell me, because this is the vibe that I'm getting from watching your video. Alright? Then we also go further into your video, and then the same attribute given to somebody with a diploma from a second-rate community college is that they lack the ability to get laid. When the truth of the matter is, if you honestly think that there aren't people who are college educated out there who are getting more pussy than you, you're sadly mistaken. Alright? I've seen people with college degrees, 4-year degrees, master's degrees, who are thugs, and who are serving time in prison right now. Alright? So don't think for 1 second that getting a college degree or whatever means that that person is soft, because the shit ain't true. But what I also find disturbing is that you then go on to talk about the cheap off-the-rack suit, which, here's what's disturbing about that is the fact that, for one thing, you're talking about pursuing education and its lack of importance. Then you're also talking about the mediocrity of those things as well, and then mediocrity of having a good paying job. You talk about those things as if they're somehow beneath you. When somebody who is purchasing a cheap off-the-rack suit likely has a white-collar job. Now, I really don't know what you do for a living, and it's really not germane to the topic. Okay, but if you're putting down someone who is buying a cheap off-the-rack suit, and you yourself have not pursued education, and you consider yourself a thug, chances are they're working a job that is paying a lot more than what you're getting paid. Either that, or, they're at least getting paid as much as you are, but are exerting themselves less physically than you are. Alright? But I could be wrong, so correct me if I am. I don't know what you do for a living, and I don't care. But the point of the matter is, we don't need to insult other people's achievements. When people do achieve something, they have a right to be proud of it. And when we're talking about cutting down other black men, to say that these people are mediocre, when statistically speaking, they are not. They're, this is the real crime that I'm seeing here. Alright? Commitment to a system that the good black man didn't create. Let's talk about that. Alright? There's a game we all have to play. And not playing that game is really not an option. You may feel that playing that game is beneath you. That choosing to play that game and trying to get ahead in that game is showing commitment to white people who oppress blacks or what have you. But let's be honest here. By not playing the game, where does it get you? Does it simply get you more pussy? I mean, you know, is that your claim to fame here? Is that the true measure of you as a man? How much pussy you can get? You know, then that leads us into the pussy beggars. All right. I got my issues with people who get on YouTube and bitch about women not choosing them. I got my issues with them, but what I find really interesting is the fact that you have many videos devoted to talking about the pussy beggars, and this ties right in with the thug blamers. Two words which I did not see until I got to YouTube and listened to people like you, like Heavenly Truth, talk about and bash these guys as if you see them as a threat somehow. And maybe you do. And let me get into that. Alright? Let's get into why I think that you and Heavenly Truth see these pussy beggars and thug blamers as threats. First off, these thug blamers, as you call them, the people who point the fingers at the thugs, which I'm assuming you consider yourself a thug because you do have the word thug in your usernames, such as thugtician, wisdom, etc., etc. Right? But I'm assuming you consider yourself a thug. But you speak of these thug blamers as causing problems within the black community by not associating with ordinary black men, by seeing themselves as more than ordinary black men, by putting these black men down, weakening the black community by not uniting with the ordinary black men. These black men, these good black men, are just committing these horrible, horrendous atrocities by putting down and thinking that they're better than the thugs. Now, hold on just a damn minute here. You speak of black on black hatred from these good black men who are putting you down or think they're better than you. Let's talk about this black on black hatred, black on black crime, okay? If these good black men look down on you, think they're better than you, put you down, etc., etc., you know, in an effort to appease white people or what have you, if that's all they have done to victimize you, you've got it pretty damn good, my friend. Because when I look at the real, not figurative, but the literal, black on black hatred, black on black crime, when I look at black men in the black community getting beaten, getting robbed, getting murdered, when I look at black women in the neighborhood getting beaten, getting raped, etc., etc., getting, sold drugs to, etc., etc., the robbings, the beatings, the murders, the rapes, the drug dealing. Those things are what's destroying the black community. Those things are perpetuated by thugs. Thugs are the ones who are beating their fellow black men. raping black women. Thugs are the ones who are selling drugs. Thugs are the ones who are doing this. That's the real black on black crime on what's happening to other black people within the black community. Those things are being committed by thugs. Yet, good black men are the ones destroying the black community. They're the ones with the black on black hate by talking like they're better than you. If that's all they're doing while the thugs are robbing, beating, murdering, and selling drugs to their fellow black man, man, like I said, you got it easy. You don't have a goddamn thing to worry about. Alright? But here's the deal, man. I think that these pussy beggars and these thug blamers, I think you feel threatened by them. After all, you want to reassure yourself and others that these good black men aren't capable of providing leadership in the black community because he doesn't know shit. When the truth of the matter is, education and a high-status job are what provides these good black men with the resources to lead within the black community. They have the resources to represent the black community. Don't assume for 1 second that these black men who succeed are trying to put you down always. Maybe there are some who are, but there are many who want to do for the black community. They want to show the world that black people aren't just thugs. That, hey, we are black people too. The black community consists of us as well. Alright? This isn't an attempt to put you down. This is an attempt to show those outside of the black community that there's another side to us. And understand something. Not caring what other people think is not an option. And I'm going to tell you why. I'm going to explain this in the terms of the world and countries in general, right? How your country is perceived, or how well your country fares, let's put it that way, how well your country fares. Whether it's the UK, the United States, China, Japan, what have you, but how well your country fares is not determined by what your country does internally. How well your country does is also determined by how it interacts with the world around it. The black community is no different. The black community has to interact with the communities around it in order to be able to prosper. But thugs are incapable of establishing those diplomatic ties, the diplomatic relationships outside the black community. That's just the way it is. Historically, these good black men have always led the black community. I'm not sure about what things are like in the UK, but in the US, for example, our black leaders have included people like, say, for example, W.E.B. Du Bois, the first black man to earn a PhD from Harvard. Good black man, started the NAACP. The black community cannot be led by thugs. It's just not going to happen. Right? And just looking at the video, this is why I'm thinking that the thug blamers, the pussy beggars, are seen as a threat to you. Otherwise, why would you have 3 different accounts, at least, and I've only seen 3 different accounts that I'm aware of, that have approximately 20 videos each that are devoted to talking about pussy beggars and thug blamers. It just doesn't make any sense unless you see them as a threat. And what would that threat be? Possibly a threat that is nowhere near as dangerous as the one that thugs opposed to the thug blamers, to the good black men. So, I'm just presenting the other side of the coin here. Alright? Hit me up.